Welcome, YouTube. This is Detroit's Darkest Times. First thing I want you to do is subscribe, hit the like, and the notification bell. Today I want to touch on a lot of things I'm seeing on the internet with the ICE and immigration, stuff like that. The illegal immigrants, and they got a lot of things on the internet about it where they're picking people up left and right. So I need to touch on this because I just want to voice my opinion on it. And every individual is going to have a different thought on it. And there's some as a whole going to have just one thought on it. But as much as I've been seeing that they, picking up people and stuff like that, from what I see on the internet, it just looks like they're picking up, Guatemalans, Honduras, and just certain individuals. It seems like they're picking up, and I don't really know why they're targeting just certain people. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people in the U.S. across the board from all over the place, different countries and all that. And a lot of people has legal documentation. And it just, on my thought of it, I'm just, I haven't seen them pick up, Chinese people or, Irish people or Russian people, And I think what I'm getting to is it just looks like they're just targeting certain people, because I'm just going by what I see on the internet. But from what I see, it looks like Guatemalans, Mexican, Honduras, and there's a couple other places that I seen they said the people were from. But I haven't seen no, Chinese, Irish, Russian, Canadian, just things of that nature. I haven't seen that. That's why I'm saying it looks like they're just targeting, a certain group of people. You know what I mean? So, and basically they, if you're brown skin and black hair, no matter what your nationality is, you might want to be watching out and looking over your shoulder, because no matter if you got papers or don't have papers, from what I see on the internet, they just grabbing people left and right, snatching them out of cars, taking them from their job. It's crazy, Then I seen one thing where somebody had said that they're going to charge $900 some odd dollars a day if you're illegal for each day you've been in the U.S. illegally. So that seems like that would be a big problem because my thought is if I was in that position, my thought would be, because I heard him say this, but I don't know how true it is. But my thought would be, they say you can go home voluntarily and then you can apply for a visa and you'll be welcome to come back if you get the visa. But if they deport you, you're never welcome back to the USA. So in the midst of that, I'm thinking, with them saying they're going to charge $900 some odd dollars per day if you're illegal immigrant to be in the U.S., I'm thinking maybe they're going to start tying up people's money that's in the bank, stuff like that. So if they do that, you know, I would say, if it was me and I was in that position, I think I would round up as much money as I possibly could and then head out of Dodge. Whether I'm going to my country or a different country, whatever. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion because the shit's getting deep. And, at some point you ain't going to have a choice. But, and I hope people don't take me the wrong way when I say this, but I'm just saying if I was in the predicament, what I would do. Now, other people it may not agree, but I'm just saying, you got a lot of people over here that's got their own business and got a bunch of equipment and all this stuff. And I don't know what happens to all their stuff, if they get deported. Does the government seize all their equipment and their company and all that? And what do they do about their money in the bank and all that? I mean, I just really don't know, but I really think that if I was in that position, I think I'd round up my money before the shit it's already bad, but before it gets too bad where you end up with no money. And, and then, if you got a business or whatever, it's just my opinion. I think I would sell it and just if you got a house, I would sell it. And what I would do is round up as much money as possible. And really, you ain't really got to go home. You could go anywhere you want to go. But just for the fact of United States is, cracking down on illegal immigrants. And, you know, and I don't know if people thought about it years back, like when they came over here, maybe in the 70s or whatever, and maybe they never thought about getting deported, you know what I mean? Because truthfully, it's like open season for many years. A lot of people was coming, going to work, living a good life. Nobody was messing with nobody. The government was even actually helping people that was over here and stuff. And, you know, so this is just a whole new twist and turn just to see. And I can only speak on for what I see on the internet and stuff like that. But it's pretty sad and it looks crazy because a lot of people's over here just working, trying to have a good life and, not bothering anybody and stuff like that, just trying to take care of their family and stuff like that. And you got a few, people that may catch a DUI or something like that, but nothing major. You know what I mean? The ones that's over here trying to, just make a living and stuff like that. Now, so I don't know. I just, you know, I know what I would do, and it's exactly what I'm telling you. That's what I would do. Because before I take a chance of losing my money, losing my equipment if I got my own business or whatever, and losing my home and all that, because I refuse to go back home when they say, hey, if you ain't here legally, you got to either freely leave or we're going to make you leave. And the thing is, they're saying if they make you leave, you'll never have a chance to get a visa to come back, you know. And if you ever came back in the future, you'd have to come back illegally again. But I just have to touch on this because it's a big thing that's happening right now. And, and a lot of people are confused. They don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Now, I have seen some people leaving on their own, and I really think that they're making a good move. You know, whether you want to or not, before you take a chance on losing everything you have or everything you worked for while you was here, you round up much money as you can and go home and then apply for a visa for you and your family to come back, you know. And visas may be just the same as anything else, sometimes the first time they'll turn you down and you just got to keep at it. And but they're saying if you go home voluntarily, at least you'll have an option to come back. You know what I mean? And then if I was in that position, like I said, I would gather my money and I would leave, but I'd not necessarily go back to my country. If I decided I wanted to go to Canada or wherever, or Colombia, wherever I wanted to go, that's what I would do. Because right now the heat's on, and you know, you know, some people might just say I'm gonna wait it out and see what happens. But my thought is, and I could be wrong, I could be 100% wrong, but my thought is if they start, taking people's money and stuff like that out of the bank or freezing people's money or whatever, you just ain't going to have no way to survive then. And then you're going to go home and you're going to be broke, you know. Not unless they freeze your money and then release it to you after you leave the country. I really don't know how that game would go. I wouldn't take a chance on it because you'd probably lose every dime you got. I just really wouldn't take no chance because I know the biggest part of the people that's over here, whether they're, illegal or not, I know they're all over here just trying to live a better life, take care of their family, make money, and just live good. So if I was in that position, that's just my thought on it, and that's Detroit's darkest times. That's what I would do. I would gather up my tokens and head the hell out of Dodge. And then, some people might say, well, it sounds easy, but it ain't really that easy to just up and leave after you've lived over here for, just about all your life. So, you know, that's just me seeing what's going on the internet and stuff. And I'm just put myself, if I was in that position, what would I do? And that's exactly what I would do. And like I said, you ain't necessarily got to go to your country. You could go somewhere else if you wanted to. And but I don't know, what the situation is because it's just this is something that's never happened. I mean, it's always been deportation, but it ain't been a mass deportation like it is now. So you never know what's going to happen. You go out and check your mail and get grabbed up, and stuff. So hopefully, if anybody's, planning on staying, at least I hope that they get with their family and make a plan, or something, because I hate to see anybody get deported, whether you're Chinese, Russian, anything, you know what I mean? But the reason I mention the Chinese and the Russians and different people, because I haven't seen them pick up none of them people on the internet. I've only seen them pick, certain individuals up. And that's the only reason I say that, I don't know if it's just certain people targeted or what the scoop is, but the shit's real, is all I know. I mean, I see a lot of it on the internet, and, you know, and then some people might choose just to hang out, and see what happens because, you know, I think they were saying they think there's, you know, a ton of people here that's illegal, but they really don't know the count. And another thing is, uh, you know, the way I look at it, it's just me because I'm not prejudiced against nobody, and I don't have nothing against any nationality or nothing like that. You know what I mean? And because from the history that I learned years back was the only people here was the Indians, and that was it. So from what I gather, the white man come from England, and stuff like that many years back. So, truthfully, the first people here was Indians. So, I don't know, how you justify just certain people can stay and certain people can go. I really don't know. That's just out of my pay grade. But it's crazy, man. It's just, it don't make sense. You know what I mean? Now I can see if you, way out of whack and stuff like that, I can see them, disciplining you however they feel like they need to. But the thing is, if you just here and you working and, trying to take care of your family and, you know, doing good deeds for one thing, because you got a lot of people over here, created their own business and doing good jobs and not charging a whole lot of money and stuff like that. So, but I just had to touch on this because I just see a lot of it on the internet, and I just try to put myself in that position and say, well, if it was me, the way they're going at people, I think I would gather up all my tokens, sell what I got, and then head the hell out of Dodge, because I'm like that anyways. If I'm at a company or anywhere, if I'm at a place where I know that I'm not wanted, I'm not going to give you my services. I'm going to get out of Dodge. You know what I mean? And that's the way I am. So, you know, that's just the way I see it, and hopefully people don't take this the wrong way, what I said and everything, but it's just my opinion, what I would do if I was in that position. And then some people is the only home they know is America. You know what I mean? So that being said, they might just ride it out and just see what happens. But, you know, I just had to touch on that because it's kind of a massive thing going on. And, uh, you know, I ain't never seen nothing like it really, but it's just crazy. So that being said, I'm gonna leave it right there. And if you want to support the channel, just subscribe to the channel, hit the like and the notification bell. And that's my opinion, what I would do if I was in that position. But everybody has a different thought on it. And I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but it's just my thought and what I see and, what's going on. And, you know, so that being said, we appreciate everybody that's listening and stuff like that. And you can give your opinion in the comments if you like. And, you know, what do you think, And, but I was looking at a video and I had seen this dude and he was on Blad. And and he was talking like he was just trying to make a scenario. He was like, well, if I killed somebody and then I went on the run and say I was gone, I went to a different state or whatever, and I was just settled over there and for 10 or 15 years, and then finally they catch me, I can't be mad at them because I know I'm guilty and I know I did wrong, so I got to pay the consequences. And that's what he was saying, trying to justify, like he said, if I went to Mexico and just tried to set up shop in Mexico without legal documents, would that be wrong? Or will eventually, once they find out who I am, they would deport me back to the U.S.? And he's just trying to make some justifications on, the situation at hand. But that's just my thought, and I'm checking out other people's thoughts on interviews and stuff like that, and just seeing what they say about it and stuff like that. But you know, it's crazy. It's not a good thing, uh, because I just think that it's going to hurt the economy more than it's going to help it. But that's just my thought. And that being said, we out. Have a good one. Peace.